What's good and welcome in. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. Chase Senior here with you. Greatly appreciate all of you for tuning in to today's show. Don't forget to subscribe as we give you Eagles content every single day. We begin with some legal news with the Philadelphia Eagles pertaining to Kyzir White. He has been sued, according to TMZ, for causing a serious car crash, allegedly, in Los Angeles back in 2021 when he was playing for the Los Angeles Chargers. So the information with this, and Kyzir White has not made a statement, nor have the Philadelphia Eagles, but a man in the lawsuit claims that White was speeding and slammed into a Chevy Silverado and caused a bad accident. In the lawsuit, the man had claimed that he sustained serious or permanent injuries, and this isn't the first run-in that Kyzir White has had while operating a motor vehicle. There was this situation in 2021, but also he was flagged for speeding on a popular Los Angeles highway back in 2020 as well. Now, the Philadelphia and Pennsylvania native who went to Emmaus has been a really good addition for the Birds. You look at his numbers this year, 37 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 1 tackle for loss, 14 stops on the year, and noticeably, as compared to years previously, this Philadelphia Eagles linebacking core is much better. And that's a credit to Howie Roseman for how he's been able to build this football team. This is a position that they have neglected for a really long time, not anymore. And because of that, that's why this defense is in a really good spot. And it's actually pretty ironic and interesting that when the Eagles have gotten off to these terrific starts in the Super Bowl window, it's Kyzir White running into this legal situation, but also back in the day, if you remember Nigel Bradham, he had that run-in with a Cabana boy back in the day, and now it's Kyzir White speeding. Look, I'm not concerned at all by this, but for Kyzir White, for anybody out there, just don't speed and operate a motor vehicle at 100 miles per hour. I'm not going to lie. I've gotten onto a highway and I've tested myself by hitting triple digits, and then my car starts to shake a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to decelerate here. For Kyzir White, you have a great opportunity at hand. Don't risk your life or somebody else's life, and hopefully he's all good at the end of the day. We do stick with the linebacker position. Now let's shift gears to Roquan Smith, and the NFL trade deadline is coming up on November 1. And we know that Howie Roseman is always aggressive, trying to improve this football team, and CBS Sports listed Roquan Smith, who's one of the best and young linebackers in the NFL, as a top Eagles trade target. Now, I'm not buying into this, but if the Eagles can make this deal happen, I'm all for stacking your roster with premier playmakers. I just don't think this is realistic at all, nor do I think it makes sense. And also, I don't think the Eagles have a need at that linebacker spot. But here's what CBS Sports had to say. Adding depth to the offensive line was also considered, but adding to a Pro Bowl caliber player on this Eagles roster to the middle of the Philadelphia defense would make a very good defense even better. It would also help resolve the Eagles' somewhat suspect run defense, as they are currently yielding an average of 5 yards per carry. If the Bears are fielding offers, the Eagles should make a run at acquiring Roquan Smith, a tackling machine that currently has a league-high 66 stops. Along with being a solid tackler, Smith can also aid Philadelphia's pass rush while being a consistent presence in the opponent's backfield. Acquiring Smith would pay dividends for years to come, given that he is 25 years old. Now, a couple of things here that I do take issue with. Roquan Smith is not a blitzing linebacker. He is not in the same mold of Hassan Reddick. He's more of a coverage linebacker. So to say that he will aid the Philadelphia Eagles pass rush just isn't true. This is a guy who drops back in coverage, and that's where he succeeds. And if the Eagles were to make this trade, I don't really want to see him oftentimes rushing the opposing quarterback. I want to see him used to his strengths, and that's in coverage and against the run. Also, the Eagles linebacking core is a quality unit, and the players that they have now and could bring back in the future are going to be way less cheaper as compared to Roquan Smith, who is in the final year of his deal. He had requested a trade this past offseason and will probably, if he's healthy, look to be one of the highest paid linebackers in the National Football League. And I like what TJ Edwards is bringing to the table. I think that Kyzir White is one of the more underrated pickups, not just for Philadelphia, but among all teams in the NFL. Down the road, I want to see what Nakobe Dean can do. Hassan Reddick occasionally drops back as a linebacker. So I think that the Eagles are actually pretty set there. The biggest need for them is edge rusher, and that's what CBS Sports missed. And while Howie Roseman has invested more more here at that linebacker spot, Roquan's going to demand a huge deal in 2023, and I think he'll land somewhere in the neighborhood of the top 3 highest paid linebackers in the National Football League, up there with Shaquille Leonard, formerly Darius Leonard. He's making an average annual value of $19.7 million, Fred Warner at 19 even, and C.J. Mosley at 17. Now, for the Eagles, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to pay Roquan Smith that amount of money because I think they have other positions of need, and this defense is well equipped moving forward to really not need a player like this. But that's not to say Roquan isn't a dog. He absolutely is. I loved him coming out of college at Georgia. This year, he's been all over the field wreaking havoc as one of the premier defenders in the league, and he's still only 25 years old, 66 tackles, a sack and a half. So occasionally, he can get after the quarterback, but oftentimes that is after a play breaks down and the quarterback tries to make plays kind of out of sequence, 2 pass breakups and 1 interception. And then the last couple of years since he's come into the league in 2018 out of Georgia, you see that this guy is a straight-up tackling machine. He doesn't miss a lot of tackles, which is a problem for this Eagles defense that CBS Sports did not lay out, but 122 tackles as a rookie, 101 the following year, 139 in 2020, 66 this year, obviously, and 163 last year. But you see, he's never been a big sack guy, 5'2", 4, and 3 from 2018 to 2021. So, yeah, I wouldn't make a trade for Roquan Smith. I think he's a little bit too expensive with what you have to give up and if you want to keep him in the future. So those are my thoughts on Roquan. We're going to get to another Chicago Bear coming up around the corner, but first, where are you watching from right now? And where are you hanging out during the bye week? I have access to all the analytics to see that we have a worldwide audience here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, but where are you right now? Let me know in the comment section. And as you venture down there, make sure you subscribe to the channel. My goal is to make this the best Philadelphia Eagles channel in the entire world and to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which hopefully results in a Super Bowl championship. We're currently north of 34,000 subs. So if you want informative, entertaining analysis coming your way every single day, lock us in and hit that red subscribe button. Coming up next, Robert Quinn buzz is back. He continues to get linked to the Philadelphia Eagles, and according to some NFL executives, they believe that he is going to get traded by the selling Chicago Bears. First, though, make sure you sign up with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. 125% deposit bonus if you head to chatsports.com/EaglesBet and enter the promo code EAGLES125. You can bet on the Phillies to win the World Series. The Eagles right now, plus 200 to win the Super Bowl championship. Use that link in that promo code and start betting on some games and be bold about it. All right. Now let's shift gears to the position that I actually think the Eagles need an upgrade at or another addition at after that injury to Derek Barnett. Will Howie Roseman go get an edge? Maybe it'll come in the form of Robert Quinn. According to the Washington Post, multiple NFL execs believe Quinn will be shot before the trade deadline. The Bears right now have suffered 3 consecutive losses. They play the New England Patriots this week. And New England has been really hot, so Chicago might be in a position to sell. And why would they want to rebuild right now with an edge rusher who's a little bit older on the wrong side of 30? Eagles are rumored to be interested, and it's easy to see why. Him in this scheme, given the players on that defensive front, he could be a really quality player. And last year, he had a career year. Now, this guy's been in the league since, I believe, 2012. So he's been getting it done for a really long time. And last year was one of the best for him. 18 and a half sacks. That is profound. That is nuts. 49 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, and 4 forced fumbles. He can play in a 3-4. He can play in the 4-3. The Eagles kind of run that multiple 4-3 look, but sometimes they only rush 3. And Quinn this year, not having a year like he had last year, but I think that's more of a byproduct of his surroundings. He also has a new scheme with Matt Eberflus leading the charge as the new head coach of the Chicago Bears. 7 tackles here in 2022 with a sack and a tackle for loss to go along with 2 quarterback hits. And really, my thoughts here with Robert Quinn. You put him on this defensive line with the upstart Jordan Davis, who continues to really shine and make some plays. Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham. This guy could be a great acquisition at the trade deadline if you want to go all in right now and make a serious move that will help catapult you to a Super Bowl championship. And he would get pass rush opportunities in this defense. And he'd be adding to a defensive line and a defense that is top 5 in the league in sacks right now. Eagles sack leaders up to this point. Hassan Reddick leading the way with 4.5. Brandon Graham having a great year coming off that torn Achilles with 3. Fletcher Cox also has that Allen Iverson number at 3. Josh Sweat with 2.5. TJ Edwards from that linebacker spot with 2. And Javon Hargrave got on the board against the Washington Commanders earlier in the year when the Eagles sacked Carson Wentz 9 times. So you put Robert Quinn on this defense with these players here on your screen, and I think that he would be able to produce. And honestly, when you think about it, right, given his age, given his experience level, given what he's done in the National Football League, it really does remind you of another acquisition that happened when the Eagles were going after it prior to the 2017 season, when they picked up Chris Long from the New England Patriots, who the year before had won a Super Bowl championship. Like, Chris Long, I believe, went number 2 in the draft several years ago to the St. Louis Rams. He had a couple of really good years and went to the New England Patriots. He was a little bit older, but then comes to the Eagles, has a couple of really good years, and Robert Quinn would be able to do that as well, as he's under contract for the next couple of years. So let me ask you this before we hop on out of here for this particular segment. I see some big super chats came in. It's been hard to compose myself doing this show live, but pick an edge rusher for 2022. BB for Brian Burns, RQ for Robert Quinn. Sound off and let me know. If you want to interact with me on social media, make sure you do so. Twitter and Instagram. You want to hit me up about the Birds, the Philly sports scene. I also cover the NBA and college football here. Shoot, you want to talk life and need some life advice. I've been through some things. It's at Chase_Senior on Twitter and IG.